you reach.
Put it up, it's like a 3dB difference.
Yeah.
Damn. Choke you. So what are these subs?
Zv5s.
On how much power?
2 Ampere 9.0s.
How much battery power?
I got 2 Limitless 80s.
And alternator power?
2 Mechamn 370s and a 240.
And what's the front tuning?
It's tuned to 43.
43? And it says 63s in the kick?
Yeah.
61, what's it?
60 seal. 60.2 seal. And 61 on the nine.
61, that's good, man. And you built this? What was your name?
Justin.
Justin, Jacob.
Nice
Appreciate
to
the
meet you.
demo, man.
No problem.
How about your doors? Give me a little info on that.
No, it's kind of broke. Pull it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What you got in here?
DS18 Pro X.
Okay.
And then the DS18 410 Tweeters.
Okay.
On a Stetsome 3K. Yep. And then Stetsome 280.1s.
Your voltage was good too, like mid-13s, which is good. Appreciate the demo, Justin. Thank you.
Thank you.
You on the meter?
63.
Show me the balcony, looking over the Hollywood Valley. I'll make your balloon pop.
That was 3/4 knob.
Maybe it's 60, 59.
Yeah, it does a little over 60.
What's going on, guys? It's JacobViral for another video. As y'all just saw, 4 ZV5 Sundown. I think there were 15s on 2 Ampere 9Ks at half ohm each. So this system, I had a couple of things I wanted to discuss, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and do my daily shout out. As always, I appreciate you guys always watching, commenting, and liking this video, and being subscribers. So welcome to JacobViral's commentary. So the shout out for the day goes to Thirsty H2O. He said, "Hey man, can you give me a shout out? And you've inspired me to make my own bass videos." So I'm glad that I'm basically giving you some influence for you to show off your own setup. So that goes for anybody. Thanks for always watching. There's your commentary. Shout out of the day. I'm Thirsty H2O. As I was saying, it's good to see that you guys make videos of your setups. So why not? Since you have a YouTube channel, go ahead and post some videos of your own setup on there. You never know, somebody will like to watch it, and you might get some feedback from people. So but yeah, there you go. I'm Thirsty H2O. Thanks for watching, man. So some of the topics I wanted to discuss for this video. First thing I want to talk about is 60s on music versus 60s burp. So what I mean by that is if somebody's doing 60s on music, they're normally going to be doing 62 to 63 minimum on a burp. While if you're doing 60s burp, then 60, 61 burp will be 58s, 59s on music. Normally a burp is a frequency where you peak. That's your loudest on the meter. While music, you're going to be playing a couple frequencies below or above it or around it, but the frequency is not going to be the exact same. Plus, you're not clipping. So normally a clip burp is going to give you a little bit more power. Dirty power, not what you want to play on a daily basis as music. So that's why I like to say if a system is doing 60s on music, it's way more impressive than somebody doing 60s on burp. Because normally you got to do 2 to 3 decibel raise from music to burp, unless you have a really good song that you know you're tuning right at where you're peaking and you're doing around a half a dB to a dB less, depending on heat and basically the factors of the enclosure and if the windows are up or down. There's so many factors, but that is one thing I wanted to mention is 60s on music versus 60s on burp is a huge difference ball game. And this guy's doing 63s in the kick, so he's definitely doing 60s on music if he put the window up and he put it on the peak. He was basically where he peaks, which is 47 hertz. Alright, so next thing I want to discuss is amplifier rack. In the back of his vehicle, you saw he had the amplifier and the battery set up, and then you have a covering casing around it to make it look pretty, which is a good idea. But the main thing I wanted to focus on is not the size. He has big amps and batteries, but the concept that you need to get in your head if you don't already is vibration. Vibration is probably one of the #1 killers. Vibration and clipping and heat. So he has fans and he has a good area to mount his amps where there's not vibration. So whether you have a system in your trunk, in the back of your truck, under the seat, don't mount the amp on your box, even if you think there's no vibration. If that's the only place you can mount it, get some vibration resistor stands, or at least some form of foam or rubber grommets or something to get them between. It still doesn't work because regardless of what you do, the screws are going to have, or whatever you're mounting on the amplifier is going to give you some vibration. So don't mount your amplifiers on your box or your wall if you can avoid it. Make some kind of mounting brackets and make some form of schematic that you need to do to make it in your trunk or in the back of your truck or wherever it is. Just make sure you don't have vibration and have some fans to have heat to get the heat away depending on where you live on the temperature. All right, and my last thing for the day, wanted to talk about subwoofer regular versus inverted for the mounting. Is this system, he had them inverted. How do you know they're inverted? So you see the motor. 90% of setups, you're not going to see the motor, the back end of the subwoofer, because they're mounted regular. You're going to see just the cone. The reason he's doing this is he's in a 4th order enclosure, which means he's going to have a sealed section, and he doesn't want the motors in the sealed section, because if you have the motors in the sealed section, it's going to lead to more heat buildup, and it's going to cause the subwoofers to not react as well in a long period of time. So if he's a demo monster, then he wants to have more cooling, so he has the subwoofers inverted. Plus, you can play a little bit lower. No matter what your system, if you invert, you're going to play a little lower than if you mount regular because you're adding more space to your subwoofer box, whether it's ported, sealed, or 6th order. If you remove the magnet from the sealed section or from the box out of the vehicle, let's say you have 2 15s in the back of your hatch, and you remove the magnets from the box and you invert it to where the subs magnets are above the box. So then you just added, let's say 0.2, that's 0.4 cubes out of your box, outside of the box. So now you have 0.4 cubes extra to your box. It could lower your frequency tuning 1 or 2 frequencies. If you're in a sealed enclosure, you could have a little bit of a higher or lower sealed resonance frequency and play a little lower. So that's another thing. If you guys don't feel like you're playing as low as you want, try inverting your subs. Downfall is it's going to show the magnet. It might be in the way. You might not have room. So it's just an option. But at least something you could try is inverting them to see, all right, well, maybe I can play a little lower when I invert. So that's why you notice that difference in sound, but not much. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. It's been 5 minutes. Thanks for always watching. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks again. I'm ThirstyH2O for being a subscriber. And there's your daily comment. If you want a comment of the day, just say, hey, give me a shout out with some feedback. This is JacobViral out. Until next time tomorrow. See y'all.
45 box.